What's going on, guys? I'm Orginalsins 2014 and I'm back with another video today. What I got for you guys today is I got a review for you. Request from one of my good friends on YouTube, Wrestling Handyman. He wanted me to review WCW Fall Brawl 2000, which takes place September 17th, 2000. And we'll go ahead and get started on the card. First match on the card is Elix Skipper defending the WCW Cruiserweight title against Kiwi. First off, Kiwi was a little weird anyway, so all in all, this match wasn't too bad. It displayed some of Elix Skipper's athletic ability, who would go on to have better success in TNA. But anyway, all in all, there was a match. Elix Skipper was working on Kiwi's knee when Kiwi snapped, as they called it on commentary. All in all, it was just short and sweet, and Elix Skipper wins it with overdrive. Okay, the next match we got is the MIA, which is Lash LaRue and Chavo Guerrero against 3 Count. 3 Count comes out, that stupid song of theirs, and performs it not once but twice. All in all, this was a pretty good. It was a 3-on-2 match, but all in all, it was pretty good. Could have been better, but Lash LaRue gets the pinfall after hitting Whiplash on Shannon Moore. Could have been better, you know. My next match is it's the Harris Brothers against Chronic in a chain match. This whole match started because of what happened at last month at New Year's at New Blood Rising, when the Harris Brothers cost Chronic the WCW Tag Team titles. So they come out to the ring expecting to have a chain match, and Chronic decides to make it First Blood. And this was a decent brawl, you know. Don Harris was busted open first, but the referee didn't see it, so just brawling over the ring, just your typical style match. And the match ends because Don Harris hit Brian Adams in the head with a 2x4 wrapped in barbed wire, starts bleeding, and continued to beat them down after the match. Then, because the referee did not see that Don Harris had been bleeding earlier in the match, they decided to give him their finishing maneuver, which is called High Time, which is a double choke slam. Okay, well, next up we got is Lance Storm against General Erection for the WCW US title. All in all, the whole USA versus Canada thing, it was done okay. It's not as good as it was in '97 when WWF did it, but all in all, it wasn't a bad match. Jim Duggan was the special guest referee. This match was also for Major Guns' Freedom, and General Erection's about to win the match, and Jim Duggan turns and hits him with a 2x4, and Lance Storm wins with the Canadian Maple Leaf. All in all, it wasn't a bad match. The ending was kind of stupid, but all in all, it wasn't a bad match. Okay, next we got the Filthy Animals, which at that time was Juventud Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, Conan, Disco Inferno, and Tigress against the Natural Born Thrillers. Big Vito was a guest in their match. And they also had a mystery a partner for the match, which they didn't announce until they actually came out to the ring. Natural Born Thrillers were Mark Jindrak, Sean O'Hare, Mike Sanders, Chuck Colombo, Sean Stasiak, Reno, and Johnny the Bull. It was a elimination style match. It went back and forth. And whatnot. Conan was first eliminated because Disco Inferno didn't see who was behind him and gave him the last dance finishing maneuver. And then Reno comes out, and WCW portrayed him as this big badass. He pinned Disco Inferno and Big Vito with the finishing was called Roll the Dice. Their mystery partner, which ended up being Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, took out Johnny the Bull with Spike Piledriver. He went for the move again, and the match was stopped just shortly after because Paul Orndorff ended up becoming seriously injured. Come to find out later, he ended up having a stinger in his neck, and the match was stopped, which was continued later on Monday Nitro. Next is Shane Douglas and Tori Wilson against Kidman and Medusa in a scalpel match. Guys, I gotta be honest with you, this was so disappointing. It was, for one thing, the scalpeling. If you're expecting like a match from like Starrcade Night of the Skywalkers, this was a really big disappointment. For one thing, the scalpeling wasn't even in the ring; it was at the entrance ramp, and it raised up only to about maybe 20 feet. It wasn't even that high, but all in all, it was just basically a lot of brawling, and Kidman hitting a powerbomb was kind of cool, but all in all, that and Shane Douglas kept assaulting Medusa, ended up putting her in an STF, and all in all, the match ended because Medusa was climbing down on the opposite side of the ladder. That's how you had to win, and Shane Douglas kicked her off, and she fell off. Afterwards, Shane Douglas took him and threw him off the top, which was about 20 feet, I think, was what they said. And Tori Wilson and Shane Douglas climbed down, and they were the winners. Honestly, it was just a joke. Like I said, that's not a scalpel match. Okay, next up, we got a triangle match. It's Sting, Vampiro, and the Great Muta with ICP at ringside. All in all, all it was basically to me was like a 2-on-1 handicap match. It was Muta and Vampiro basically tag teaming Sting because Sting earlier in the night had been attacked by Jeff Jarrett while he was cutting a promo and all that. Then pretty soon Vampiro and the Great Muta started going at it, going back and forth, and ICP on commentary was kind of annoying, but if you ever watched any of their Stranglemania videos, you'll know what I'm talking about. Sting picks up the win, pins the Great Muta with a Scorpion Death Drop, and ICP and Vampiro start assaulting Muta. Sting pulls him out of the ring. It was okay. Okay, our next match is that 70s guy, Mike Awesome, against Jeff Jarrett in a bunkhouse brawl, which basically means it was just no disqualifications. Jeff Jarrett had already been talking to the crowd. He'd talking about because the Buffalo Bills football team was in attendance at the event, and started talking some mad shit to him. And all in all, the match was pretty good. It was a pretty hardcore brawl. You know, watching them duel with chairs, or Jeff Jarrett taking a shot through a barbed wire table. Mike Awesome went for the awesome bomb off the top rope, but Jeff Jarrett threw him through a table. The match was getting ready to end, and the Buffalo Bills stormed the ring and basically turned it into a lumberjack match. And Jeff Jarrett's going for his signature guitar, and Gary Coleman comes out to the ring and gives him a low blow, which was funny in itself watching him do it. After Jeff Jarrett recovered, he gave Gary Coleman a really nasty guitar shot, which I started laughing at. Mike Awesome turns him around, hits the Awesome Bomb for the win, which I will give this match. It was a pretty good match for the event. And check that one out. That, and because of interference from Sting, giving him a Scorpion Death Drop, which would later set up their match for Halloween Havoc. Okay, next up we got Scott Steiner and Goldberg. This rivalry had been building for a while, and then it all started because Goldberg put one of Scott Steiner's freaks into through a table. Then Steiner assaulted Goldberg's girlfriend, and basically this was just a back and forth match. It really wasn't too much to it. The match was no disqualifications, and Scott Steiner was wearing a face mask because Goldberg hit him in the face with a pipe. One thing that was kind of interesting, Goldberg got out of the Steiner recliner not once but twice. The match ended because Scott Steiner's valet, Menage, came out, brought a steel pipe, and Goldberg took 3 shots to the head. And the match was, Scott Steiner won it by technical knockout because Scott Goldberg was unconscious. All in all, it was okay. It could have been better, but you just take it for what it's worth. And now the main event, which was Booker T against Kevin Nash for the WCW title in a cage. This whole thing started out just after New Blood Rising, and Kevin Nash assaulting Booker T and taking out his leg. Going into this match, Kevin Nash was WCW champion because he had won it on an episode of Nitro a couple weeks before, and it was kind of disappointing, to be honest with you. Kevin Nash got busted open very easily early in the match, and just back and forth using the cage as a weapon. Booker T wins it. Booker T wins it, hits the bookend on Kevin Nash for the 1-2-3. All in all, Fall Brawl 2000. It's a hit or miss depending on how you look at it. There was a couple decent matches on it. This was the last official release for WCW before the company was purchased in 2001, and if you can get a hold of this, grab it. Like I said, this is one of the rarer tapes to find, but if you can get a hold of it, grab it. Any comments, requests, any more reviews, just send me a message. I'm Orginalsins 2014, and I'm out.